Welcome back to Real Health, and thank you for staying with us. We don't often realize that what we eat can have a great impact on how we feel on a mental level. So maintaining good gut health has been shown to have positive results on our mood and general well-being. Our second supplement from the Real Health Medicine Cabinet today is a psychobiotic that can help maintain a good gut and brain health. But let's first find out more about the gut-brain connection and how it can be improved naturally. For this discussion, we've invited Rory Jean-Jacques back to studio. So welcome, Rory. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Always good to be here.
Now let's talk about the gut-brain connection. We call our gut our second brain. And why is there such a tight connection to the two?
So they've started doing huge amounts of research now, and they're finding that the microbes that you have in your gut and the balance of the microbiome, which is the ecology that you have in your gut, has a direct influence on your mood and your cognitive function.
Okay.
So this is a second nervous system. They call it the enteric nervous system.
Yes.
It has huge amounts of neurons, trillions of neurons in the gut. And that has constant communication via the vagus nerve. Digestion up to brain. This is what we need. This is what's going on. It allows us to feel digestion. But what a lot of people don't know is that nearly 60 to 70% or more of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, is produced in your gut lining.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you think it's something happening in your brain when you need to be looking at your gut health.
Okay.
Is your gut inflamed? Is your gut ecology out of balance? You don't have enough of the right good bacteria. So you've got too much bad bacteria, or you've got pathogens that are overgrowing.
Okay.
So they're doing huge amounts of research now that they're finding that the type and the makeup and of your ecology has a major impact on your mood and motivation, your anxiety and how you manage stress, the clarity of your thought, cognitive function. So when they start treating ADD and autism, they're looking at healing the gut lining. They're looking at getting the microbial diversity expanded. So we start to realize that the hohos, the microbes in our gut, influence our perception and the way we see the world.
It's fascinating.
It's mind-blowing. They started finding research with 60 to 70% of depressed people have an altered diversity of bacteria in the gut. So we need to do everything possible to heal the gut lining, feed the right microbes, reduce those pathogenic microbes. And specific types of microbes produce specific types of brain and mind chemicals. You can have up to 800 different types of species, and you might be missing 2 or 3 species because your family didn't have that, or you were on a course, multiple courses of antibiotics. Then people find after these antibiotics, they develop anxiety. They develop these mood disorders, and they don't link it back that 6 months ago they had a major diarrhea, or they were on they ate some unusual food, and they've got some type of microbial parasite or a disruption in your ecology. Then when they start using probiotics, people start to feel better. Mood starts to improve, clarity, memory, that type of stuff.
It's amazing. And general thinking, it's kind of the last thing that you would even consider. You'd go straight to an antidepressant or something to fix your head, but it's not going to make that much difference if your gut is not in the best condition.
No, absolutely.
Also, stress, cortisol levels can have an impact.
Tell us a little bit about that. Stress is probably the front runner that causes the gut issues. Increased cortisol switches off the digestive system. The nervous system goes into tension like this. You stop digesting your food properly. The body goes into fight or flight. And that cortisol creates permeability in the gut lining. And that permeability creates inflammation. So when that gut lining is inflamed, if you've got poor clarity thinking, depression, low mood, you've got to look at inflammation in the gut first.
And that's leaky gut, they call it.
They would call it leaky gut. So any foods that you start to take in, your body starts to react. Got to heal up the gut lining. Avoid gluten. Eats the gut lining. Most of our food is sprayed with glyphosate, which is a weed killer that reduces the permeability of the gut lining. Contraceptives, alcohol. We spoke about antibiotics. Sugar, refined carbohydrates, inflame and disrupt the ecology in the gut. So we need to heal up the gut lining with things like glutamine, organic butter, curcumin, fish oils to lower inflammation. And this is why when people start to go on an anti-inflammatory diet, they start to feel so much better.
Absolutely,
because,
yeah.
and when you start to heal up the gut lining, everything improves.
Absolutely. Yeah. What is the sort of, if you can call it, the best regimen for probiotics? Because if you're taking one probiotic, is it enough to really get things moving, or do you need more than that?
So diversity is extremely important.
Okay.
I think a lot of people will take a 1 strain or a 5 strain or something like that, and you get very, very limited effects. You get positive effects, but if you could get something which has multiple strains, up to 20, or you can start to eat sauerkraut, kimchi,
all those fermented
kefirs, foods as part of your diet, so that you're feeding lots of fiber-rich food, so you're feeding the right ecology, which means what you already have there starts to grow, and you're adding in all these additionals. And they found with adding in these just basic probiotics that people have improvements, but they're doing huge amounts of research now where specific types of probiotics are created to, i.e. lower anxiety, to lower stress cortisol. And they found you take a probiotic, but your cortisol urine levels in your urine drops. And they found an increase in dopamine and serotonin in the brain.
Very interesting.
I mean, the consequences for the treatment of Parkinson's are phenomenal, for autism, for ADD, for just general mood and low melancholia. You're not depressed, you've got an inflamed gut and a disrupted ecology, and you've got candida overgrowth, or you've got some kind of microbial parasite that is producing the opposite. It's producing microbial toxins, inflaming the gut lining. So specific bacteria can produce acetylcholine for short-term memory, GABA for calming. And and now you want to take one particular strain and think it's going to help the gut, or it's going to help. It will help to some extent, but the wide food variety is one of the most important things that you can do.
Okay, let's go back a step and just go back to the point of depression. Does the depression cause the problem with your gut, or does the problem with your gut cause the depression? And where does stress have an impact in that whole setup as well?
So the first point would normally originate stress, which then the gut lining becomes affected. Then you start having mood and cognitive related issues. So it's not like you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm depressed. You know, depression is such a common thing, and gut issues are such a common thing. So why are we not constantly looking at where's the link? And I've seen it phenomenally with just treating the gut with, you know, barley grass juice powder or wheatgrass juice powder, healing up the gut lining with things like glutamine and prebiotics and probiotics. Everything changes. People are like, I feel phenomenal. And I'm like, this is cutting edge stuff, and you're going to see so much more of it going forward. Treating the gut to treat psychological related issues. This is what they call psychobiotics, probiotics, or mood microbes. So specific microbes that have a positive influence on your mind and the plasticity of your brain. So they found people with colitis, inflammation of the gut lining, actually have brain lesions.
Oh my goodness.
The same with Crohn's, actually have brain lesions. So if you just had chronic digestive related issues that can develop an issue with how you perceive things, how you see things, how you deal with stress, how you manage it, and it's microbes in the gut.
Well, the Real Health team tried BlissFlora Mood Enhancing Probiotic Extract from NeoGenesis, and were very impressed with the results and decided to add it to the Real Health Medicine cabinet. And we've asked Rory to tell us a little bit more about it. So Rory, this is a psychobiotic, which is a great word because we've just had this whole discussion about how your microbiome can impact your psychology. So tell us about how this works and why is it different from a regular probiotic?
So this is a specific strain that they hunted across thousands of different strains, and they actually found it on a type of mustard leaf. It's a type of plantarum strain of bacteria. And they ran it through clinical studies, and they found the most phenomenal results with an increase in dopamine in the brain, which is your mood, your willpower, your get up and go. Increase in serotonin, which is your happy hormone. You know, they found a lowering anxiety and stress scores. They found increased cognitive and learning abilities. They found a lowering in cortisol levels. You take a probiotic and your cortisol levels drop. It blows my mind. It's phenomenal. Really cool. And these have been through clinical studies. This specific extract has been through clinical studies in major improvements in autistic cases. That will show you that it's healing up and repairing the gut lining and improving cognitive function. They've had clinical studies in it in Parkinson's, which is an issue with dopamine signaling in the nervous system. So they've found with this particular strain, which is called PS23, that in all the scores of cognitive and mood, phenomenal improvements.
Okay.
So to take this strain of probiotic also has a great improvement in the whole microbiology.
Okay, brilliant.
It's not, it shouldn't be specifically classified as a probiotic because it's what we call a probiotic extract.
Okay.
So what they found was the live one produced phenomenal results,
yes.
but they found the heat-killed version of it, which provides all the byproducts and the outside cell membranes, had far more superior effects.
Interesting. Okay.
Which means you don't need to try and keep it alive and it's shelf stable and all of these kinds of things. So people find improvements in digestion, lowering inflammation in the gut, and phenomenal improvements in cognitive clarity, mood.
Okay.
I mean, we could all
wonderful benefits.
We could all do with more of that.
Absolutely. Rory, just out of interest, what is the best time to take a probiotic?
I find the best results with my patients is if they take it on an empty stomach.
Okay.
First thing in the morning or last thing at night.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Where can we get hold of this product from?
So BlissFlora is available on NeoGeneHealth.com, and it's available at practitioners, health shops, and independent pharmacies across South Africa.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us again in studio.
Good to be here,
Excellent.
as always.
Thanks, Rory.